it's Megan. So today I'm going to do a video that I'm really excited about sharing with you guys. Like you know, I am trying my best to be better about money, and I'm trying to be on a no-buy and go month to month depending on how I feel to limit my spending in certain ways. So with all this going on in my mind, I thought that it would be a really good idea. And let me preface this by saying, every single one of your comments in my I'm going on a no-buy video really, really helped me. I learned something from every single one of you, and I made a note to myself on my computer of your name and then a certain thing in your comment that really stood out to me. And it was so incredible to have so many different people comment on that video, but all say a different tip or a different thing they do that helps them. And so all those combined just really, really have made a difference for me. So if you guys go to that video, I'll link it down below. I really suggest reading all of those comments, and I think that whether one comment sticks out to you or several of them do, you will learn something different, a different tip, a different trick, or a different way of thinking about things that will really help you in being better about your money. So I really wanted to thank all of you guys. I responded to all my comments this weekend, and I just really, really appreciate all of your advice, because it was so eye-opening, some of the things you guys said, and so that's what really motivated me to want to create this budget, and I'm just really excited about it. So I'm going to show you the initial budget that I made, and then my parents and I sat down and had a conversation that night, and we kind of worked out where my money is going each paycheck. So at first I was calling it monthly budget, and then in the end I called it where my money is going per paycheck. So I'm just going to show you kind of that transition, or that evolution from where I started to really taking all of what you guys said in the comments and talking to my parents, and then creating my ultimate where my money is going per paycheck kind of spreadsheet. So the initial one that I created looks very blank, and I wanted to throw this one out. That's why it has a fold in it, but I thought that it would be good to kind of show you guys where my head initially was, and then all the kinks getting worked out, and then in my final draft of it. So in my monthly budget, I broke it up into two sections. I did fixed expenses and then cash envelopes. Cash envelopes is something new I'm going to be doing. One of you guys mentioned it in your comment, that having a envelope system in your purse or just in your life to put money each month or each paycheck or whatever into envelopes, eating out, spending money, makeup, etc. And that really struck a chord with me, because my parents do that. And my mom always told me that when she was fresh out of college, she would do that to help budget her money for groceries and rent and spending money. So that has always been in the back of my mind to do that, but I never had employed that tool. So I decided I'm going to do it. So I'll get to that next. But for fixed expenses, I put all the things that I have to pay for each month. Since I live at home, and since my parents are super, super helpful with helping me pay for stuff, I don't have a lot of fixed expenses, but I do pay for certain things, and I also am putting my savings into my fixed expenses. So when I first started out, I only had 4 things in my fixed expenses category. I had my car payment, my Netflix, because I pay for that myself, my gas, and my savings. So I had a certain amount for each of those. I spend about $50 in gas each month, and then I want to have at least $100 in savings each month. And I know that that doesn't sound like a lot, but I don't get paid a lot where I work. So this is my budget based on what I make. Every person's budget will be different. And so I don't really want to focus on my numbers, because first of all, I don't think everyone should know where my money is going, step by step. But for you, yours will be way different than mine, and you will have different expenses each month and so on and so forth. But I just kind of want to give you an idea of maybe where to start if you want to create something like this. So I only had 4 in my fixed expenses when I first started this. Then for my cash envelopes, I had two. I had my spending and then my entertainment. So under my cash envelopes thing, I made a note to myself that says pay with cash at stores/restaurants or put cash into bank account for purchases made online. And I made that like rule for myself because if I didn't, I would go still crazy online. A lot of my money I spend is based online. Like I'll make Nordstrom orders, as you guys know, or I'll buy something that's on sale at Sephora or whatever. And having like cash envelopes would kind of make it seem like, oh, but then you can still online shop. But for me, since I know that is a trouble area for myself, I am saying that I need to put the cash from my envelope, put it into my bank account, and then I can buy stuff online. And that will also really help me think through what I'm purchasing online. Like I can't just make a snap decision and buy something that I wasn't really intending on spending my money on. So that I think is going to be really good for me. But so I had, for my spending, for each month, I was going to put a certain amount into the envelope and then any gift money. So say for a holiday or for my birthday, I could put whatever amount from the gift money into my spending envelope. And then, so I put spending, aka shopping, as my envelope title. And then underneath, like the amount, I put, what did you buy this month? So this is something that I would print out every month and I would write down what I bought, the amount of it, how I paid for it, like debit or cash. I don't have any credit cards and I don't plan on having them. So I just write what I bought. And then my second one was entertainment. So that's dinner, lunch, drinks, movies, and concerts. And so I would have a different envelope for that, certain money into that each month, and then I had what did I spend this month, and then I would say I went to Chili's and I spent $20 or whatever, and then I could just keep track of it. So this was my initial plan, and it's pretty blank, like there's not a lot on here. So then my mom, dad, and I sat down and we talked about how much I'm making per paycheck, and we talked about Dave Ramsey, and I have one of his books that I still want to read, and a lot of you guys said that I should read some of his books, so I'm excited about that. And so we decided that it would be better to do it per paycheck rather than per month, because I get paid about 2 times a month, and seeing kind of where my money is going per paycheck is, I think, easier for me. So that's why my thing is now called Where My Money Is Going Per Paycheck. But we made this little list. My dad loves to make little lists like I do, and he wrote my income approximately per pay and then my expenses. So we did my, like, every month basically cut in half. So my car payment, what I have to pay per month, we cut it in half and said, it will be this much, one pay, this much, another pay. And then Netflix, same thing, gas, savings, and we ended up adding a lot more stuff that I didn't think about before doing my initial budget. So I'm really glad that I talked to my parents about it, and I know not everyone would, I don't know who, like, your parents are and if you would want to do that with them, but I'm really thankful and lucky that I have parents that I can talk openly to them about this kind of stuff and they really want to help me. And yes, so now my plan looks like this. So this one is where I started and this is where I am now. So as you can see, I added a lot more, and this, I think, is going to be the best thing that's ever happened to me in terms of saving my money, seeing what my money is doing and where it's going and what I'm buying. I just am so excited about it. So, like I said, it's called Where My Money Is Going Per Paycheck, and I underlined it so I remember it's not per month, it's per paycheck. And then, so I'm going to print out this thing each payday, and so I'm going to put the date and then how much my paycheck was. And I also changed something that instead of putting a certain amount of money towards my, like, personal savings, I do get paid on YouTube. I get it through the ads that you guys see at the beginning of this video. I don't make a lot, like, don't think I'm a millionaire, but I do get paid like every month. So any amount of money that I'm getting from YouTube is going into my savings. So that happens about once a month instead of like every 2 weeks like my normal paycheck. So that's something I added, which me and my parents talked about. And then so for my fixed expenses, like I said, we basically cut everything in half that I had monthly. Instead of X amount of dollars, it was like half that amount. So I still have my car payment, my Netflix, my gas, and instead of savings, I am putting money towards my student loans each month. And my mom and I had talked about something that Dave Ramsey talked about for debts, and I have a lot of student loans. So she said that his idea behind debts is to pay off your smallest one first, and then to keep like putting towards like whatever you were putting towards the smallest one, now that you've paid it off, put that amount towards the next smallest and keep going and keep going. So I really thought that that was a great idea. I think that it'll give me a lot of motivation to help like diminish that debt that I have, and I'm just really, really excited about it. So I'm putting a certain amount of money towards my loans each month. And then two other things that we added was I go to Buffalo Wild Wings, like you guys know, every Thursday. And that is something I know will always happen. So that's a reoccurring expense 2 times a month. And so I am going to have an envelope for that, but that's kind of a fixed expense. So that's in the fixed expenses category. And then I also the editing software that I use for my videos, the Adobe Premiere Pro, it's part of the Creative Cloud from Adobe, and that unfortunately is like a subscription, so you have to pay per month. So I have to pay $10 per paycheck for the Adobe Premiere Pro, and it's $20 a month about. So those are all the things. So we added a few more and changed a few since my original draft. So then moving on to cash envelopes. I added 2 more envelopes after talking to my parents, and I added a few more things that I can write on here that will help me track my spending. So I still have my spending, aka shopping, and my entertainment, but now I also have beauty and gifts, because gifts, I think, for me personally, it's hard to budget what I spend on gifts, like for people's birthdays or like whatever, if I do a swap with someone. So I'm gonna put a certain amount into a gift envelope each month. So then when I do need to spend money on someone for a gift, I will be able to see how much I can reasonably spend and go from there. So I thought that was a really good idea. And then beauty is going to be separate from spending, because obviously I don't spend all my money on beauty products, at least I am trying not to. So I'm putting, like you guys know, my monthly budget for makeup stuff is $50. So I'm putting $25 into an envelope each paycheck. So that'll be like $50 a month. So then what I also did is I wrote, instead of just what did I buy this month, I also wrote the starting amount in envelope and then the ending amount in the envelope, because the whole envelope idea is not to spend all the money every single month. Like, I don't want to spend $25 every paycheck and just go back down to $0 each paycheck. Like, that's kind of what I'm doing now. I just spent all my money and then I have nothing left. So the whole thing, I'm going to put cash in the envelope because I'm going to get money out from the ATM, put the money in the envelope. It's not going to be like this figment of my imagination, this envelope system. This is going to be cold hard cash in an envelope. I can see it whenever I want to. I think it's going to be really good. So I want to put the starting amount in the envelope at the time of my paycheck. So I put that amount there. So say I didn't have anything in there before and I'm putting $25 in. So I put $25. And then at the, like when my next paycheck comes, I'm going to put the ending amount in envelope on the 2 weeks before on this paper. Does that make sense? So when I get a new paycheck, I'm going to go back to the last paycheck's paper and write how much is in the envelope at the end of that period and then get a new paper. So then I'm going to see how much I have spent from the envelope, and if I didn't spend anything, that's awesome. Now I can save up for like something bigger, or I can just not save up for something bigger and just have more money in the envelope for when I need it. So this is really exciting for me, and we realized that even with all these expenses, which seems like a lot of stuff, like for me, this is a lot of stuff to be constantly putting in like savings or paying towards stuff or putting in these envelopes, I felt like I would have absolutely no money left. But we still had a little bit money from my average paycheck that will just be in my account for like if something happens or if I need a little bit extra money for an unexpected expense. It's not for shopping, which is what I would do, because once I had paid all these things and I saw how much money I had left in my bank account, then I was like, oh my god, I have this much money that I can spend on whatever the heck I want, and then I would have nothing if something actually happened, and I would need to pull directly out of my savings for any like unexpected thing. So I'm really, really excited about this, and like you guys know, I am a huge list maker. This kind of stuff just like gets me going. I love it, and I know that this is going to help me so much. Like, I can't even like explain to you how like proud of myself I am that I did all this, and I'm so thankful for my parents that they helped me like kind of figure out all the kinks and add things and change things, and that we talked about like my student loans and savings and stuff, and I'm just really, really excited, and I hope that any of you guys who are struggling with money like I always have. I've always been a spender. When I was a kid and I got my allowance, I would want to buy a new Barbie right away or a nail polish, and I've just always been that way. Like, it's not something new that's happened over the past few years now that I'm an adult. Like, I've always been this way, and so I'm just kind of used to being this way. But I really do want to be more proactive in saving and seeing where my money is going. And another thing I wanted to say for the fixed expenses, like I mentioned, everyone's thing will be different, but for me, a fixed expense is anything from a magazine subscription to a car payment to rent to your Birchbox, Netflix, Hulu. Like, I don't subscribe to a lot of things, which I'm happy about now seeing this, but if you are like wondering where all your money is going, maybe consider how many subscriptions you have to things, because that is a reoccurring expense. Every single month you have a certain payment to them that's probably directly taken out of your bank account. Like for me, my Netflix is directly taken out at like whatever day per month. So maybe if you do something like this, you can see how many things you're signed up for, and maybe you don't want to be signed up for that many things when you add up how much money it is. So I wanted to add that in as well, because I know that there's so many subscription services out there and they all seem so cool. You get like presents in the mail, but maybe you would rather put that money towards saving, or maybe you really love it and you just like want to keep doing it, and that's like perfectly awesome. Like, that's great for you. But I think that it's really helpful for me if you're like me and you're a visual learner and you need to see something right before your eyes to understand it and believe it. Doing this with your money and seeing where your money is going is a huge wake-up call, and it really, really is inspiring to me to change my ways. So I thought that this would be interesting to share with you guys. A few of you, I posted a picture of when I was doing my monthly budget, and a few of you guys said that you thought that it would be a cool thing to see. So if any of you guys enjoyed this, please let me know. I'm like, I think you can tell, I'm pretty excited about this, which is weird to be this excited about just a spreadsheet about money, but I'm excited because it shows me that I can change and I'm ready to change, and that money is not going to control me, but I'm going to control my money. So I'm really excited. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Let me know if you have any tips or tricks on how you budget your money, or spreadsheets that you use that help you, or any books that you would recommend for those of us who want to learn how to better control our money. And yeah, so thank you guys so much for watching. I really, really appreciate it, and I'll see you guys soon.